Today's video is going to be broken up into two separate videos. The first video is going to be the complete stripping down of the 7615, and the second one will be the reassembly of the same firearm. Now the 7615 and the 7600 are very similar in a lot of respects, so it will be useful for both firearms for an instructional or information on how to strip down your firearm. This has been a request from some of my subscribers and also forum members for quite some time, so I thought what we'll do is we'll do it in a fairly well lit area and also with fairly high quality filming, so it might help with answering some of your questions. What I must express before I do touch the firearm is anything you do on your firearm you are held responsible for. I bear no responsibility for any modifications, any field stripping, any detailed stripping that you do on your firearm. Obviously it's not advised by the firearm companies themselves, but I'm happy to pull mine apart for instructional or for informational purposes and bear the responsibility on myself. So knowing that, hopefully you guys enjoy this video and maybe learn a little bit. What I'm showing on the table right now is basic tools that everyone should really have in their sheds. It's nothing special, no individual gun tooling. So these are what you're going to need to pull this firearm apart. So we can start with a cork block, a 4.8, 4 and 1.8 mil punch, a 4 mil hex key, a rubber mallet, a large flathead and a medium size Phillips head screwdriver, and obviously the firearm. In my previous videos I've shown how to take the buttstock and the foregrip off, but for those that are watching this for the first time, I'm going to really quickly show you how that's done in the video, and hope you guys enjoy. Before we do any work on the firearm, we have to make sure the firearm is safe and unloaded. So we drop the magazine first, check inside the chamber, make sure it's clear, and push the pump forward. We're going to take the foregrip off first, so this is where we get the large flathead, and just on the top here, unscrew like so. Okay, so we take that screw out. Now I've lost the spring, but there is a spring inside that. Just be careful and mindful of that. We pull the foregrip off like so, and then what we're going to do is take the buttstock off. Now to do that, we have to go to the very back of it, get our small Phillips head, and there's two holes in the silicone butt pad, one there and one there. We just loosen this bottom one and completely undo this top one, and then we should be able to just pivot that around like that, which will give us access to a large flathead bolt or screw in here, and we just undo it with our flathead screwdriver. Okay, and there we have the first part of our stripping of the firearm. We'll put all these parts aside and we'll go to the next part. What we'll do here is take the trigger assembly and the mag well out from the receiver. Now to do that we need to use our corks to place it into just a little bit of elevation there. We then get our large punch and we're going to use it on the back pin, and just with the mallet just tap it out just like that. Then we get the small pin, move this back, and we're going to punch out the small receiver pin like that. Now we take our 4 mil hex key and we're going to unscrew this screw here, which is holding the mag well into place. There we go. Now to take the trigger assembly and the mag well out, all we need to do is just basically just jiggle this out, and don't use too much force. If it's not coming out, just keep going at it, but you don't need to use a lot of force. But there you go. There's our mag well and our trigger assembly. Now, with your mag well, just have it like that. The trigger assembly, as you can see, there's a lot of springs and latches. You don't want to play around with it too much, simply because if you lose some of these pieces, they can be really hard to find. But just as a demonstration purpose, you've got your thumb on the hammer here, and we just pull the trigger, and you can see the hammer goes forward. Anyway, what we're going to do is put those both aside. We don't want to play around with those too much. Same with the screws and pins. And what we're going to do is now take the bolt housing, which is in there with the firing pin just here, and we're going to take that out from the receiver. Now, as you can see, slides. To do that, you have to have the slide all the way forward, and as you can see on this tube here, there are holes. They're on each quarter, there is a hole. What we want to do is place one of our pins into the hole and through the tube. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to be extremely hard and difficult to do, and I suggest probably putting it into a vise, putting the receiver in the vise. Make sure the vise has got plastic teeth or clamps, and maybe even spraying some brake free down there and getting it into the threads, because this is going to be incredibly hard for you to take apart. This has already been taken apart by Jason to do the spraying of it, so it's a lot easier. But basically all we need to do is just spin this like so until we loosen it, then we can just, with our hand, unscrew it. Okay, so once you've unscrewed it, we just push that tube up into the slide here, and what we're going to do is hold the receiver with one hand and the barrel and the slide with the other, and basically just pull them apart like so. And you can see you've got your receiver here, put that one aside. Our bolt carrier cover, we can put that aside as well. And there what we have is our bolt with the barrel, and we just pull the bolt and the barrel apart like so. And then where we've got the bolt lug, or sorry, the barrel lug, put that to about halfway on the slide and simply just turn, twist and take out. And there you've got your 16.5 inch 223 barrel. You can give that a clean out if you need to. We'll put that one aside, and we have the bolt housing with the shroud and the firing pin. What we'll do next is show you how to take the firing pin out of this and clean the bolt housing. To remove the firing pin from the bolt carrier, we need a couple of tools. Obviously the 1.8mm punch, a pick hook is helpful as well, and a ball pin hammer. So what we're going to do is have a bit of a look at the bolt itself, and as you can see, it has a pin here and on the other side there, and that's the firing pin just there, and we can probably just see it popping out there. Don't know if you can see that well. Anyway, what we need to do is take out these two pins here first, and both of them are different sizes. So for instructions or for a guideline, you've got the large pin on this side and you've got a smaller one on this side. We don't want to lose these, so we'll just pull that bolt out just a little bit, and we get our hook under and just take that first one out, the large one, and then we do the small one. Same way. Just get under there. Okay. So now this is also going to be a reference point for how we take out the firing pin, using the large and the small side, large and small. as a reference. So now these two pins are out, this bolt will free spin, and what we need to do is, as we free spin this bolt, you'll see a section right there, and as we can spin it around, you'll see the other end of it right there. There's a pin in there that we need to punch out, and as you can see from the firing pin how it's half cut, it basically, that pin is stopping the firing pin from flying out. As you can see, there's a spring inside there. So what we need to do is punch that pin out. I'm going to do that now. Now, as I mentioned, the sides we're going to use as a reference point. So we need to get it to the small side, which is this side here, and we're going to punch the small side out. And it's going downwards. Because on one side of the pin, it's slightly larger than the other. And it really is only supposed to be punched through at a certain way. Because if you do it the wrong way, then you're going to have all sorts of problems. So anyway, we'll line it up. I'll try and do this on camera as best I can. Put our pin in there and we'll try and punch it out. And there you go. There you go. There's that little pin. Now that pin, very important because it's actually grounded down on one side, so when we put it back into the shroud, it won't hit against that shroud there and it'll spin in the manner it's supposed to. Now if we remove this, the pin, the firing pin should just fly out. There we go. Firing pin. And inside there is the spring. So if you want to give that a clean down, guys, I don't suggest oiling or greasing up any firing pins because what happens is you get all sorts of dirt and grime in there and it starts grinding up against the bolt housing, causes all issues. If you can, and if anyone knows where you can get extra pins, firing pins, let me know because I'd be really interested in buying at least a couple of these just as spares, simply because the way that it seems like the 7615s are, doesn't seem like they're being produced anymore for Remington. We're not too sure about that, but I'm really keen on buying a couple of these. So if anyone knows where you can get these, by all means please let me know and grab a couple for yourself as well. So anyway, that's the complete disassembly of the 7615. I'll lay all the parts out and we can have a look at it then. Here we have a 7615 completely stripped down with all its components, and as you can see, we got the foregrip, the bolt carrier, the slide, the barrel, we've got the firing pin with its spring, we have the mag well, trigger assembly, the stock, receiver, and all the pins that go along with it. So our next video will be putting it all back together again and hopefully we do it right. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching and watch on for the next video.